Okie dokie, right, we're here at the convention centre here in Manchester. Hyrox is currently underway inside on day 2. The ladies opens is currently in progress. I'm going to do the walk the floor video. What that means is I'm going to go inside, I'm going to go from end to end, station to station, and I'm going to point out anything interesting along the way, anything important you need to know. This video is intended for those that have not done a Hyrox or have done a few Hyroxes and just want to see what it's like inside the venue on the actual day itself. So I will point out anything that I think is pertinent to you as sort of a newbie or a sort of first timer, second timer. And it's very interesting to say if you're planning on coming to this venue, say in another year, like down the line, if you're coming to this one, say next year in 25, it's great. It's a great video just to sort of get a lay of the land before you get here. All right, let's get inside. Okay, so walking the floor here at Hyrox Manchester. It's proving more difficult than you'd think. It is absolutely packed. And there's people everywhere, and there's music and noise and children, everything. So today is one of those examples where you need to look at the map because the stations are all out of order. I'm trying to do them one end of the room to the other, but that means starting at station 4 here at the Burpees. So I'm going to edit them into order, but walk them from end to end. Okay, so at every Hyrox there is a warm-up area. It's normally near the start. And they have rowers, bikes, more bikes. They'll have samples of the kit as well. They'll have ski ergs, lots and lots of spare ergs. Get a little bit warmed up, and generally they have things for you to try to push and pull. Aha, here they are. So here we've got some test sleds. You can see those there. A push and a pull. Just be a little bit careful because they're not always loaded up to your weight, and the carpet isn't always exactly the same. Got the Kettle Bells and the sandbags. Yeah, it's a really good little warm-up area. Just enough space to sort of get your sweat on before you start, get your heart rate up. Okay, so behind me, that big blue tent, that is the start arch, okay? Inside there, everyone congregates for their wave. There's a few TVs with a countdown on. They play some music, whatever's cool at the minute. Then you sort of get filtered into the track just down here. What you don't really want to be is around that point on the general running track when that happens, because there's a massive influx of really fast people. Station 1, the ski ergs. It's very easy to take this too fast. I've done that on nearly every Hyrox I've done. I now try and keep myself at a steady pace at about 150 per 500. Some people monitor it on stroke rate, sort of 35, 37, something like that. Ultimately, consistency in this is what's important. It's not a sprint. Somewhere between 4 and 5 minutes is good, so anything below 4 minutes is excellent. Little tips for the ski: high hands, long strokes, steady pace, lift up on your toes, easy peasy. Oof. Like I mentioned, super hard to walk around, let alone walk and talk at the same time. Woo. Okay, so we are going over now to the next exercise, which is the sled push. Okay, exercise 2, the sled push. Now the ladies are just coming in on this, and they're going to populate the lanes all the way down here. Now the sleds are always an area of contention because of the carpet, the resistance level, the humidity, blah 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 blah. It's always going to feel heavier on industrial carpet that's glued to the floor of a convention centre than it is at your gym's AstroTurf. So always overload your sleds in training, always. Okay, so there are generally 3 ways to push a sled. Hands at the shoulders, hands sort of down the pipe and pushing with your sort of biceps, like over here. And then when you're feeling a bit tired, you even see the long arm push. Opens up the chest, allows you to breathe better, but it's not the most efficient. See, we've got the 2 very distinct styles here. Pushing with the crooks of your elbows and biceps, or pushing from the shoulders, hands on the posts. And it takes a lot out of your legs, so you have to be really mindful. You've quite jelly legs as you come off this particular one. I've just witnessed some spectacular sled pushing from the women. I'm learning a thing or two today. It's my 8th Hyrox, so that's quite an achievement. Every day's a school day. Okay, so we are at exercise 3 now, the sled pull. This one's a tough one after just coming off the sled push. You would assume that it's all sort of upper body since you're pulling a rope, but it's really lower body intense. And there's 3 different styles or techniques as I see it. Hand over hand for the stronger athletes, the double-handed pull for the sort of moderate athletes, and for everybody else and those that get tired or fatigue, you hold the rope at the start of your box and you walk it to the back of your box. Start of your box, back of your box, and you repeat that all the way through. You can lose a lot of time on this particular exercise. Go on. Okay, so station 4, the burpees. Now, I'm at the burpee station. It is right at the end of the arena. There's basically 2 different ways of doing burpees, the step up and the sort of 2-footed version. Sometimes I step down and step up into a burpee because I'm that tired by the time I get here. It's my worst event by a long shot. Like I said outside, I am on the 2nd day of events today, so I'm looking at all the ladies. Lots and lots of really fit ladies. I've never seen so many ladies in one place as I have in this arena right now. It is ridiculous. The most efficient way is to not come up out of the burpee at all, but stay low and spring into the next one. Use your arms to throw yourself forward. But by this time, a lot of the time you're tired and can't do that. So it generally descends into a 1 leg up, 1 leg down. See if I can find an example. These ladies are doing real well. So see that one, that was a step, and that was a double foot. Step up, double foot. Great, example of both. When things get real bad, I step down and I step up. It's always worth touching on the running element of Hyrox. It makes up 50% of the entire race. So pacing and training for running is super important. It feels like you're out here for an eternity when you're actually running round and round and round. Certainly when you're on your own, it feels a bit lonely. And it's super important part of your race. Always train hills, speed work, and compromise legs. Take that one to the bank. At every Hyrox, there will be a display screen in the corner of the running track. It's here. It's a big screen, it faces you on the running track so you can't miss it. As you pass a map back here, as you're running up, it updates this screen. The screen tells you what lap you're on if you're running, or if you're due to come in off of the run, it'll tell you what exercise to go to. Exercise 1, exercise 2, that kind of thing. It's really useful, but don't rely on it because I've seen that fail before now, and it will mess you up. So always count your arches, make sure you go in the in and out the out. Avoid those penalties. Station 5, the rower. And we're here with the ladies as they are bashing through it. Now, it's very easy to go too hard on this, so have an idea of your pace ahead of time, whether it be per 500 meters, because you'll have that on the display, or your stroke rate. As long as you use one of those 2 things to sort of manage what you're doing, you should be okay. And when the photographer comes around, make sure you give him a smile. So this particular venue is not laid out in sequential order like the last 2 gigs have. So it's kind of got 1 to 4 on that side and 5 to 8 on this side. It's a bit confusing, more from a spectator point of view. You have to go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. It's just easier as you caterpillar up the room. Armors carrying 2 kettlebells at your respective weights around what feels like an eternity of distance. I think it's 200 meters. I should know by now. I think it's 200 meters. Feels like 200 meters. So you pick them up, and if possible, don't put them down. Today I'm going to have to because I'm doing mixed double, so Holly wants to have a go. Ordinarily I could just get these through in one take in about 140, maybe less if I'm lucky. Now holding them, you can either hold them hook grip, lock grip, or normal hands, depending on how you feel and how long your fingers are. One thing to do before you start, there's a big bucket of chalk just at the entrance. Just dunk your hands in that real quick. You won't regret it. The kettlebells can get quite slimy after about 4,000 people have picked them up. Lots of grease and sweat. The last thing you want is that being responsible for why you drop them on your own toes. Exercise 7, the lunges. Now this is the penultimate exercise and it devastates your legs right before the wall balls. Ain't that good? That feels like that's been done on purpose. And we've got the ladies on here at the minute and they're all doing really well. Again, sort of two distinct ways of doing this. Striding through like this, which is the strongest way of doing it. Or you can use the two-step when you start to get tired. So one foot to the other foot, stand up at the top. This allows you to stabilize if you start to wobble. It's also easier, but slower. So it's whatever you've got in you. If you can just walk it like these ladies, then go for it. It's the fastest way. The only sort of caveat to this is your knee must touch the ground and your hips must look out the top. You don't always see both of those things happening. And it's the job of these good referees to sort of pick that up. You get a little warning if you seem to be not adhering to that. No shuffling either. Oh, and a big one on this one. You can't put the bag down, not anywhere. Not from that line, from when you pick it up, all the way to the finish. Not anywhere. Do not put your bag down. I think it's a 5-meter back penalty and no one wants to redo lunges. No one. Okay. So we're at wall balls, it's really loud. Exercise 8. Last one, right before you run up the finish ramp, just there. Now, there's not a lot to think about on this one. You hit your relevant target. And if you don't hit the outside, or if you overshoot, undershoot, no rep. The whole rep has to be done from the squat first to the target. Squat to target, else no rep. You can use a box, but you have to have a pretty good reason, like unable to hit depth. Okay, that is Hyrox Manchester. I hope you can hear me, understand me just a little bit. It is a really great venue, but really sort of congested this time out. Third time here, and this is the busiest I've ever seen it. Having that sort of as a backdrop, it's just awesome. Heavily recommend coming and taking part at Manchester. Please give the channel a subscribe. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon. Mart out.